Life has a way of throwing curveballs when you least expect them. I never thought I would be here, sharing my story, but sometimes the pain of betrayal is too heavy to keep inside. I never imagined I would discover that the person I trusted more than anyone could betray me. The emotional aftermath was something I wasn't prepared for. The raw, unrelenting hurt, the confusion, and the questions that would keep me up at night. It all seemed endless. But today, I want to take you through that journey, because maybe, just maybe, it will help someone else find their way. So, take a deep breath, sit back, and let me tell you about the emotional roller coaster of catching my partner cheating and the road to healing afterward. It started off like any other relationship. I was happy, I trusted them, and everything seemed perfect. But over time, there were small, almost imperceptible changes. Little things, like how they would suddenly be glued to their phone, or how they started spending more time away from home. At first, I tried to brush it off. I told myself that maybe it was just stress, or that work was taking a toll. But deep down, I felt a shift. Something didn't feel right. But nothing could have prepared me for that day. It was supposed to be a simple evening, just an ordinary night. I came home early from work, planning to surprise them with dinner. But instead, I was the one who got a surprise I'll never forget. There they were, in the middle of a moment that was supposed to be mine. The air was thick with intimacy, the kind of moment that should have been shared between us. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I couldn't even move. Time froze as I stood in the doorway. I was watching the person I loved more than anything betray me with someone else. How could this happen? How could someone I thought I could trust do this to me? It was like I had stepped into another world. Nothing felt real. My heart was shattering, and I felt like I was drowning in my own disbelief. I remember feeling so alone in that moment, a feeling of utter isolation. How did I not see this? How had I been so blind? And then, the guilt. The intense, crushing guilt. Guilt that I hadn't noticed sooner. Guilt that I didn't protect myself. The pain was unbearable, but I knew I had to confront it head on. After everything I had just witnessed, I didn't know if I could even face them. But I had to. The truth couldn't stay buried. I had to confront them, no matter how much it tore me apart to do it. The anger was boiling inside me, but at the same time, I was numb. I didn't even know where to start. What could I possibly say to make sense of what had just happened? That night, I confronted them. My voice was shaky, my body trembling, but I demanded answers. I needed the truth, no matter how much it hurt. They tried to deny it at first, of course, but the guilt was written all over their face. The silence between us felt suffocating. Finally, they admitted it. The words "I'm sorry" came out, but they felt hollow, like a rehearsed apology. It was the kind of apology you give when you're sorry you got caught, not sorry for your actions. And in that moment, I realized that the person I had been loving wasn't the person I thought they were at all. I kept waiting for them to show genuine remorse, but all I saw was someone trying to save themselves. I was the last thing on their mind. And here's the thing. I couldn't even find the strength to leave right away. Even after everything, part of me was still holding on, hoping that the person I loved was still there somewhere. But no amount of hope could change what had happened, and no amount of words could fix the damage. The aftermath of betrayal is not something you can prepare for. The days that followed were a blur of emotional exhaustion. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I couldn't focus. I kept replaying the moment over and over again in my mind. The anger and the sadness blended together into something so all-consuming that I didn't know who I was anymore. It felt like I had lost myself in the aftermath. Every time I thought I could breathe, another wave of emotions would crash over me. The shock, the disbelief, the crushing weight of betrayal. And then there were the questions. Why? Why did this happen to me? Was I not enough? Was I not good enough? Could I have done something differently? The endless what-ifs gnawed at me like a constant ache. I decided to leave. I had to. I couldn't stay in that house, in that space where everything felt broken. I moved out, hoping the physical distance would bring some peace. but peace was a distant dream. Every corner of that house reminded me of what I had lost. It was more than just a relationship. It felt like a part of me had been stolen. But as painful as it was, I had to face the fact that I had built my life around someone who didn't value me, and that realization hit harder than any betrayal. As the days passed, something incredible happened. I began to find myself again. It wasn't easy. Some days felt like I was taking 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, with the pain washing over me in waves. Yet, something inside me pushed me forward. Slowly, I began to see glimpses of the person I was before the heartbreak. Healing doesn't follow a straight path. There were times I felt completely broken, like I would never be whole again. But in those moments of despair, I learned to embrace vulnerability. I allowed myself to feel the pain, grieve what was lost, and forgive. Not for them, but for me. I forgave myself for the mistakes I thought I made and let go of the guilt I had carried for too long. I started surrounding myself with people who cared. These connections reminded me that I wasn't alone. We all go through tough times, but when we open up, we start to heal. I began to heal, not dramatically, but quietly, rediscovering what I loved about myself and remembering my worth. I started doing things I hadn't in years. I reconnected with my passions. I worked on my goals, not to be productive, but to prove to myself that I was capable of more than the pain. I focused on self-care, mind, body, and soul. I meditated, ate well, exercised, and rested, becoming the best version of myself. It wasn't easy. There were days when it felt like nothing was changing, but I kept going. Slowly, the weight I'd carried began to lift, and in those moments I realized something profound. I didn't need anyone to complete me. I was whole all along. I had always been enough. Healing isn't linear. It's messy, painful, and at times feels impossible. But I learned that healing isn't about erasing the pain. It's about accepting it, learning from it, and finding the strength to move forward. It's about letting go of the past and embracing the future with resilience. There's no right timeline, but what matters is you keep going. Even on tough days, it's messy, but worth it. The lesson? Life doesn't give you a blueprint for betrayal, but it does give you the chance to choose how you rise from it. The pain of being cheated on is one of the hardest things you'll go through, but it doesn't define you. It's a chapter, not the whole story. What matters is how you heal and move forward. Remember, you're not defined by someone else's actions. You define yourself. You're worthy of love, respect, and happiness. The pain may seem unbearable now, but it won't last forever. It will fade, and in the end, you will heal, grow stronger, and find peace again. Thank you for listening. If you're going through this, know you're not alone. Take care of yourself. Your journey to healing has already begun. Keep going. You are stronger than you realize.